Welcome back to Wall Again, where passion meets music, and today we are continuing our top 100 classic rock albums of all time countdown. And coming in at number 99, it's Bryan Adams' Reckless. Released in 1984, this was the fourth studio album by Canadian rocker Bryan Adams. Produced by Bob Clearmountain, who's an absolutely fantastic producer and has worked on some of the biggest rock albums of all time, including this one. And it was released through A&M Records. It was recorded in two locations, the Power Station in New York City and Little Mountain Studio in Vancouver in Canada. So yeah, that's a very much, that studio has a lot of history. AC/DC recorded a lot there, as well as Metallica, Motley Crue, and of course Bob Rock loves that studio, and so does Bob Clearmountain. So very interesting, very historic place for recording there. The lineup for the band on this one was obviously Bryan Adams, Keith Scott on lead guitar, an absolutely fantastic lead guitar player, knows when not to play or overplay too much, and he really sets the scene for this album. Absolutely fantastic. Dave Taylor played bass on this one, and then the drum duties were shared by Pat Stewart and Mickey Curry, two excellent studio drummers. Absolutely brilliant. When you talk about classic rock sounds, holding down a groove, there's nobody better than Pat Stewart or Mickey Curry, with the exception of maybe Phil Rudd, but absolutely top notch. There's also some guest appearances on this album from Lou Gramm of Foreigner. He does some backing vocals, and of course Tina Turner. She is fantastic on this album. She contributes to one song called It's Only Love. She sings the lead vocal, shares it with Bryan Adams, and it's a fantastic classic rock song. One of the best rock songs of the 1980s in my opinion. So favourite tracks, my favourite tracks on this album, they include the aforementioned It's Only Love, absolutely brilliant song. It's got great guitar in there, great drums. It's a really great classic rock song, everything you want from it. And Tina Turner is on fire, as I mentioned on that one. Summer '69 is the big hit that everybody knows. It's definitely overplayed, but I still think it's a great song if you actually go and listen to it. The production, the mixing, everything on that song, the groove, it's absolutely fantastic. It's a really well constructed rock song, even though it's overplayed. My personal favourite, Run to You, I think it's an absolutely brilliant song. For the same reasons as Summer '69, it's very well constructed, it's very well produced and mixed, but I also think there's some fantastic, interesting guitar parts in that song. There's a great little lick and riff there. There's also some fantastic chords, and the way the guitar interplays throughout the song, I think is absolutely fantastic. Run to You is one of my favourite classic rock songs of all time. And then there's a ballad in there, of course. You have to have a ballad on Bryan Adams songs, or on Bryan Adams albums. So the ballad on this one is Heaven, which I think is one of his best songs. Absolutely brilliant. I've seen him play this live a number of times, and I don't think the live version is as good as the studio version. They speed it up, and I don't think it sounds as good, but the studio version on this absolutely kills it. If there was any tracks that I had to skip on this album, it'd probably be the first track, One Night Love Affair. I think, to be honest, it's a very strong album, but it starts off a bit weak with that song, and they probably could have picked a stronger song to start the album. But I don't think overall it really pulls the album down that much. There's not too many poor songs on this album, to be honest. Even with that One Night Love Affair, it's still a decent song. And there's another song called Kids Wanna Rock. Again, it's not the strongest song on the album, but it's still a decent song. So I think with the songwriting and the production on this album, because they're at such a high level, and obviously the instrumentation is brilliant, and it's a real classic rock album, I think that this album is very, very strong from start to finish, with pretty much no skip tracks, but maybe two tracks that are a little bit below the standard of the rest. So overall, I'm going to give this album a 7 out of 10. I absolutely love this album. I think it's the best album by Bryan Adams. And I think if people maybe who might think Bryan Adams is just like a crooner or someone who just plays ballads and all that type of stuff and radio-friendly music, you should really give this a listen if you're into classic rock music. If you like the likes of Def Leppard, Whitesnake, AC/DC, if you like your 80s rock, I really think you should give this a listen. You might be surprised with how much guitar and how much of a classic rock album this actually is, because I think it really rocks. And I know a lot of rockers, maybe they're turned off by Bryan Adams, but maybe you should give this one a chance if you haven't already. I think it's excellent from start to finish. So let me know in the comments what you think of Reckless by Bryan Adams. This one's number 99 on the list. We're going to be doing 98 next, so stay tuned for that one. If you liked the video, hit the like button, and if you could also subscribe, and I will talk to you on the next one. Bye for now.